What's up, y'all? Welcome back to Kelsey's Corner. I just started doing this rat bin. I got a bigger bin to put my rats in because I have so many now that the small one is not appropriate size for them anymore. These are 30-gallon bins. Those, I believe, are 15 or 20. So these are a lot bigger. And I started doing it and I was like, well, I might as well make a video showing how to do this. So don't judge me. This is the only knife I have. I wish I had a serrated one because this would be a lot easier. But I didn't build like this on my other bin. Basically what I'm doing is I'm just taking 1/4-inch chicken wire, cutting a hole in the top of this, and then attaching the chicken wire with zip ties so that there's plenty of ventilation in there. Haven't had an issue with it. It works a lot better with the mesh on top because when it's enclosed, which is what they're in now, it just builds up humidity and it smells really bad, like really quickly, and then I end up having to clean it every couple of days. So it's just easier having it like this. This is a good cheap way to keep rats. And honestly, if you can avoid keeping rats, I would recommend it because they've literally just been a pain in my butt since I started doing it. I had 4 of them escape, which was fun. I caught the boy. I had a boy and 2 girls in a rabbit cage, and they chewed a hole in the bottom of the plastic of the rabbit cage, and they were running around my living room, which was great. By the way, sorry for the messy living room. This is like where I keep my quarantine snakes. They're in these bins right here. And then I have some rats right there, which they're going to be upgraded to this bin once I'm done with it. But anyway, they were running around my living room, and I was like, really? It was, of course, before I went to work, so I didn't have time to catch them. I caught one of them, and then the girls were running around, and they're both pregnant, so I was like, I really don't want them having babies underneath my couch. So the next day, it took me an hour. I caught one of them. They figured out a hole underneath my couch to hide in, which was great. It actually made it easier for me to catch them, but I was really glad that I ended up catching them because that would have been bad. So I ended up catching all 3 of them and had my new rabbit cage to put them in. Charlie's back there saying, I know. Yeah, you heard the whole thing, didn't you, Charlie? I know. I know. And then I never did find the 4th one, and I never found any sign of her, saw any sign of her. I never saw her after she escaped. So I was like, I hope she just like found a hole in the wall and escaped because I really don't want to deal with this. And then started smelling a really bad smell in my room, and I was like, great. That means she's dead in here somewhere. So I had to close all the doors to my apartment to try to isolate the smell. Went in my closet the next day, and I was like, well, she's in here. Couldn't find her. Started pulling out my clothes out of the clothing drawer, like one piece at a time, waiting for a dead rat to fall out. And sure enough, she chewed up my favorite Christmas sweater and then died in it. That was disgusting. Took like 3 days to get the smell out. So yeah, I highly recommend don't keep rats unless you just have nothing better to do. I mean, they're cute, don't get me wrong. They're just smelly and it's a lot of work. It's a lot more work than I was anticipating. Okay, so now I've got the hole in here for the mesh. I'm just going to drill some holes around the outside, and then I'm going to use zip ties. If you're planning on doing this yourself, put the mesh on the top because they really like to climb, at least mine do. They like to jump up and climb on the mesh when they're here, and these ends are like super pointy and they'll cut them. I got cut last time I did this, so put it on top so that the little ends don't cut them when they start climbing around. Anchor it down in a couple of different spots. That way it'll hold itself in place. The main thing you want to remember while you're doing this is rats are crazy good escape artists, so you don't want to leave any cracks for them to get out, because they will get out. And they actually will chew this plastic too, so if you have rats, just make sure they have a lot of enrichment, because they will literally chew through any and everything. It's actually why I have to make this new bin, because the other one that they had, they chewed a hole in the plastic like around the corner, and they ended up, that was how one of them got out. I have to like put a weight over it so they can't get out now. By the way, if you have a lot of money to invest, ARS Caging, they do snake racks and they do rat racks, like professional breeding racks. From what I've read and what I've heard and other people that have them, they are very durable. They have an automatic watering system, like everything is set up, so you just have to basically put it together when it comes. They're expensive. You can buy a one-level rack, which is just several tubs. I think it's 4 or 5 maybe. But you can buy a one-level rack for about $300. This is about 20, so works for me for now. I don't have room for a big rack anyway. But if you can afford that, save yourself some time and doing all this, I would recommend it. I just can't afford it right now. You gotta work with what you got, you know? Alright, and that is it. Now we have our mesh top. What I like to do, I don't know where my super glue is, but what I like to do is, and what I recommend so you don't cut yourself, is I actually super glue the little corners that sharp wire ends are sticking up, just because when you go to take it off, you know, I cut myself doing that, so these are extremely sharp. So I usually just cover them with like a little dab of super glue, and the rats are fine to go in there while it's drying because it's all on the outside, you know. And just make sure that you put, like, more holes are better than less, because like I said, they like to chew stuff, so you don't want them finding like a little, if you space them too far apart, they could chew this and then get right through. So alright, so this is how I set up my rat bins. I use pine pellets. You can get them from Tractor Supply or whatever hardware store. It's like $6 for this huge bag. And I just layer, it doesn't have to be a thick layer, I just layer the bottom, lightly cover it, and it really helps with the smell. It soaks up a lot of the ammonia smell and their pee and stuff. I use this paper bedding. Other people have recommended using aspen, and you can get that from Tractor Supply too, so I'm probably gonna switch to that because it's way cheaper. But yeah, this is what I use. It's just, I don't know. They get on my nerves, but I try to take good care of them, and I want them to be comfortable, even though most of them are gonna be food. They should live a nice life. And I kind of do half and half of the brown and the white. The white's a lot softer. So this is the water bottle I use. I got this from PetSmart. If you have a lot of rats, I recommend something way bigger, but this is just what I have. This one's really nice. Make sure you mount it on the outside, because I put it on the inside at first, not thinking, because I've never had rodents, and they chewed up the bottom of it, and it leaked water everywhere, so I had to super glue it. So put it on the outside. Alright, so this is the bin that they're in. The big one is my breeder boy. The rest of them are grow-up females, except for maybe a couple. But as you can see, this bin is way too small for them. And without the ventilation, that's the top for it. So without the ventilation, it gets all humid in here and disgusting. So that's why it's so important to have a mesh top for them. And the bedding gets all wet and gross, and every time I open it, it just smells like straight ammonia. So that is why I recommend doing it the way I just showed you. are nice, and some of them are not.
Hi.
Alright, there's their new setup. Much, much bigger. Much taller. They're not going to be able to just jump and get to the edge now, so that's good. And that's how it looks with the mesh lid. Alright, real quick before I close out the video, I want to show you what I feed them. It's Mazuri, rat and mouse, all-inclusive diet. It's a 20-pound bag. Get it for like 25 bucks. So I'll link that down below if you're interested in getting some of this. It's supposed to be one of the best ones that you can get. It's definitely the cheapest option as far as healthy food goes for them. I don't have enough rats where this is insanely expensive. So I'll link it down below if you're interested in getting some for your pets, or if you're trying to breed rats, this is what I would recommend to feed them. And other than that, I really have nothing else to say about rats other than make sure you have a really good solid cage for them, because you just saw one of them almost escaped and I almost got really mad because I do not want to ever go through that again. Hope y'all enjoyed this video. If you did, hit that like button. If you have any questions, anything I missed or didn't cover that you have questions about, leave a comment down below. If you love snakes, hit that subscribe button. I come out with new videos every single week. Make sure you follow us on Instagram. It's Kelsey's Corner Friends, and I'll see y'all next time.